Hey everybody, it's Jannah with another episode of Random Yet Riveting Ramblings. For this episode, this one is going to be water and air part 2. I did another episode talking about water and how I use it to meditate and to heal myself and thinking on it, and how I use the earth to heal and meditate and um, get and learn myself on deeper levels and things. And I wanted to do another part on how I also meditate on air. And let's see, so I wrote down some little things on a sticky note so that I would not forget what I wanted to talk about in this episode, because my ramblings get really random and then I forget what I want to say. So for this one, I wanted to talk about meditating on water and air, how to meditate, when to meditate, and to explain more of the visualization meditation that I did on Newt and why I meditate and why it's important to meditate. So let's get talking. So I wanted to start this off with talking about what the meditation is that I've been doing this week. So the focus and thought that I've been meditating on has been my thoughts like air, my words like water, because I want my thoughts to flow free like air and my words to flow like water. Because sometimes I get caught up on one thought and it will play over and over in my head, and it'll be either something that has happened before or something that has not happened yet. So I ruminate over hypothetical situations a lot, and oftentimes they're not pleasant ruminations. They're either I am trying to resolve some future argument that I have yet to have, or putting myself back in the past of some conversation that I had that I wish I had said something differently, and then that one part will play over, and then I'll make up what I think what would have happened next, and I'll find myself literally stuck in the thought. Like if the thought occurs to me on the bed, I will literally be sitting there on the bed for, I don't know, maybe like 2 minutes, and you know how when you look off into space and you have one thought on your mind and it'll just be playing over and over. That's what it'll be like. And because it's not always pleasant, I have been really practicing thought stopping. And it comes from my background in psychology with learning different techniques to and counseling and things like that. So thought stopping goes with the cognitive behavioral theory or approach to dealing with thoughts, is saying how we have automatic thoughts, but we can stop them. You can stop them by doing different techniques. And for this one, my technique has been to breathe and to do a affirmation or a chant during it. Sometimes I do different grounding techniques, and I've worked with clients on how to do different grounding techniques. So, but my meditation on air has really helped, and my meditation on water has really helped with this. So I'll have a thought and I will be stuck for a moment, but then I'll remember, I'll snap out of it because I've been practicing more and more. And when I realize I'm doing it, I take a deep breath and I will repeat thoughts like air. And that means that I will let my thoughts flow in and out of my mind just like air is. I don't have to cling on to one thought. And I'll also wear a feather in my hair to help me remind myself of the element of air. And also the feather represents Ma'at too, because it's a white feather, but I don't want to get off topic. But so this week I've been wearing the feather in my hair, and whenever because today is Monday, so last week I was wearing a feather in my hair, especially over the weekend, and I would find myself having that thought and touch the feather. And when I touch the feather, I breathe in and say, thoughts like air, and I blow the thought out. So I'm breathing in and then breathing out the thought. And this idea, and it does work. I will do it over and over again, and I will visualize the thought leaving my head. And it's not an important thought. It's not a thought that I need to hold on to. But even if I need to do it over and over again, I'll do it over and over again. So if somebody sees me, they may think that I'm a little bit crazy because I may be in the middle of something and I'll stop and touch a feather in my hair and breathe. And then I'm okay. But you have to take care of yourself in the way you need to. It doesn't matter what other people think. But so I'll do that when I'm thinking about a certain thought. And what else I about to say? For I can't remember what I was about to say. But it really is helpful, especially with the feather helps me to remember it too. But for water, to make my words like water, why I also think about water too is because the thoughts that we have come to life by the words that we say, an expression of those thoughts. So if I'm having a certain thought over and over again, or if I'm feeling a certain mood, the words that I speak in relation to that thought will bring those thoughts to life. And sometimes my communication will get stunted because I'm judging the thought that I'm having, or that I'm nervous about in what ways my thought will be received if I express it. So I've been meditating on making my words like water. So keeping my thoughts pure as air and as light as air. And then when I feel that a thought is important, I want my communication of it to flow as free as water. Now, when I think about water, water can be many things, but I try to draw in the elements of how water can, the currents of water, how it can set things into motion, and how water is pure, depending on where you get your water from. And just how free flowing it is, and it doesn't let anything stand in its way. And even if there is something in its way, it carves a new path. And I really want my words to be that for people, because my words are an extension of my mind, and I can't get in the way of them because they're so. And then it's also made me. I'm going on a tangent, but it's also made me think about which words I use. I don't want to waste words. So combining the two acts of meditating on water and air in relation to my thoughts and words has made me let go of thoughts that don't serve me and be more particular with the words that I use to express those thoughts. That's what I was going to say. I remember now. So the idea of the practice of thought stopping for me was reinforced when I started watching this show, and it made me think about it when I was thinking about how making my thoughts like air. So I used to watch Orange is the New Black, and there's this character, what's her name? Crazy Eyes, is that what they call her? And she would, her name was Suzanne, I think, and she would have a thought and just say, no, I don't want to think about that anymore. I think I'm going to think about birds. And she would start thinking about birds. And it made me laugh, but I started thinking about people that can really do that. Like, oftentimes you may see people talking to themselves and things like that, or you see people on TV that don't seem that they're that mentally stable. But for the character Suzanne, like, she was one of those people who sometimes her mind took control of her, but she also showed that she had strength over her mind too, because she could simply think about a different thought that she wanted to think about and think about that one. So I really do think about that, even though it was a movie that reinforced what I had learned in school, things that I had taught clients and things. But what made it really click for me was that I really could choose what I wanted to think about. And so I use it. If I am doing if I'm having a thought that I don't like, or if I'm having a feeling that I don't like, I'll touch my feather and breathe and pick another thought. Or sometimes the act of just breathing through that thought helps me release it, because you can choose which thoughts to hang on to, which thoughts to entertain. And if you don't believe that you can, you have to practice that. You have to start building that belief, because you really can control your thoughts. You can choose what you want to focus on. And you don't have to stay with one thought that doesn't serve you, but you have to really commit to the act itself. So I tried it first when I heard Suzanne saying she would think about birds, because I love me some birds. So at first, before I started doing this chant, I would pick birds to think about. Or I would, the other day I thought about the color green, like this character in the color purple. I think I talked about this already, and how baby Suggs in the color purple thought of a color because she couldn't bear to think about any other things that made her unhappy. Her life was just so hard in so many ways. She would lay in the bed and think about one color. So these were things that I tried. If I was having a thought, like if I was feeling anxious, or I was feeling self-conscious, or if I was thinking about one person that brought on all these thoughts, I would breathe and think about birds, and then I would think about a color. So one day I thought about green, and I thought about it over and over. Like each thing that I could think of in my mind that was the color green, I would make myself bring it to mind. And it was, then I would think about all the features on it, and then I would move to something, what else is green, and I would move to something else that was green, and I would bring it to my mind until that's the only thing that I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about whatever mess had me feeling in a foul mood. I would just practice that. And man, if that was not so much fun, it just started turning into just an activity to see just how many things I could come up with that were green. But it really is helpful when you think about how much control you have over your thoughts. You can make them free as flow as air simply by choosing which thoughts to focus on. And of course, that is not always the case, because sometimes thoughts have a lot of weight and it is difficult to move them from your mind because they are heavy. But the more that you practice it, even if you have to do it over and over in a day, and I had to give myself permission to do that at one point when I started practicing thought stopping. I had to give myself permission to feel like I was crazy if I needed to do it every time. Whenever that thought came up, if I'm practicing one strategy to get rid of it, I had to keep doing it every time. So even if in the middle of a conversation, if I'm talking to somebody and it comes up, I'll stop and do it. I may explain to that person, this is what I'm doing, I'm practicing this. But because it's so important to realize the strength of your mind over your thoughts and your feelings, that you have to practice it no matter who's around. You have to dedicate yourself to practicing it. But okay, so in talking about how I practice it, me practicing it is what I call meditating. So when I say meditate, a lot of people have their own idea of what meditation is, what it looks like, and I wanted to talk about what it looks like for me, and in particular using how I meditate, how I've been meditating on water and air and drawing from those elements, because both of those elements are already within me. It's nice to use the elements that are within you to just amplify them during your meditation. So for me, meditating looks like in the morning before I get out of the bed, I will have my phone beside me and I'll turn on a YouTube meditation. I do guided meditation, and sometimes I do it without anything. So guided meditation would be if I am listening to a recording and that person is giving me the visualizations. They're telling me what to visualize. They're telling me how to relax. They're telling me what centering thought to focus on. And that is how I started my meditation journey, because I didn't know what the hell I was supposed to be doing during meditation. So when I first started it, all of my meditations were guided, and I still use guided meditations because sometimes it's really hard to focus my mind without them. But so I did this morning. Lately, every morning I've been doing meditations on creativity, and I'll do another episode about meditating on creativity. But there's this video that I listen to it, I don't watch it. I just play it and I close my eyes. I get back in the bed, make myself all warm and snuggly in the blanket, and I will let my mind do the work with the guided meditation. So there's one that I did that I do all the time, and it's Deepak Chopra, who's he's amazing, and my favorite ones. There's one where he does living carefree, and then there's another that he does where he you're just chanting different things to focus on. So there's like this 15-minute one that I used to do in the morning where he would make me you would lie down or you could sit up in a position and you focus on each part of your body that he calls into focus and say these things. And it's like setting an intention for the day where you would say a light and was a reflective and alert mind, and a loving compassionate heart, joyful energetic body, lightness of being. So those are the things that you say over and over. You focus on your mind: reflective alert mind, loving compassionate heart, energetic joyful body, lightness of being. And you say that over and over again, and these are goals for you for the day. So this is how I will start my daily my day off, with setting the intentions through focus, energy, being relaxed. These are the things that I want to make sure I carry with me throughout my day, and then meditating throughout the day. So after I do that in the morning, meditation throughout the day will look differently because I can't be laying down in my bed. So for me, it would, then the next act of meditation I would do would be to anoint myself with oils after I've gotten dressed. And then that's me still setting the same type of intention. So I'll have my oil, and then I'll touch my third eye, my throat, my heart, my womb, and I'll do the bottom of my feet. And all of that is me. I'm saying something while I'm doing it too, just like in the meditation when I'm in the bed. And then after that, throughout the day, my meditation will look like me just returning to a thought. So I think it's important for me to share this information, that meditating can look any way that works for you. It can be meditating in the bed, it can be doing a ritual on your body, it can be returning to an affirmation, returning to a chant throughout the day. It doesn't have to always be a formal process. So for me, I've really been the biggest parts, like I've been incorporating all three of those different types of meditation because I really am trying to establish good routines because I want to experience the benefit of consistency. So that impacts when I meditate. I meditate anytime I want to, and that is because of my schedule. Of course, everybody doesn't have the opportunity to meditate like that, but because you can meditate in so many different ways, and you don't have to make it a drawn out affair where you light candles and light incense and om and everything. You don't have to do all of that every time you meditate. Depending on the type of meditation you're doing, you can do it any time of day, but everybody doesn't always have that time. But okay, so then why I meditate. I'm going to save all of the whys for the next video that I do, because there's so many benefits to meditating, and I'm trying to keep to a little bit of a time limit. But why I'll touch on it a little bit. But the main reason why I have been meditating is because I want to, on the drop of a hat, clear my mind. I want to, at the drop of a hat, notice when there's a shift in my mood. I don't want anybody to be able to upset me. I want to be able to live by the principles of Ma'at, and I had talked about that before, the 42 laws of Ma'at, and those are things I'm opening up and those are things that I want to incorporate in my life. And the main way that I have been able to do that is to surround myself by meditating, I guess, or the energy that meditating brings. So to always maintain a state of peace and meditation, so that I can live by these laws. And in these laws, it says things like, I will not speak in anger. And in order for me to make sure I'm not speaking in anger, I have to be able to recognize when I'm feeling angry and what's making me angry. And so that I will not, it says I will not utter curses. That's another thing. Like, I'm going to make another video on curses too. Like, I've been thinking about spells and curses lately a lot. But it's easy to put a curse on somebody. Mad easy. Especially if you know the power of words. And it don't always have to be verbalized to put a curse on somebody. So I need to make sure. That's why I use silence a lot. If I know that what I want to say to somebody is not going to be positive, or it could cause them harm, I'm not going to say it. I'll just be quiet. If I'm upset by what somebody has done, it's better to be quiet for a little while, because I don't want to speak evil. That's another thing. One of the laws of my I will not speak evilly. I will not speak evil, and I will not lie. So this is like all of these things. Me meditating is my attempt to apply the things that I really believe in, that I should, the principles from which I should be operating. But there are things that get in the way of that will keep me from operating from a mindset of ma'at. And I have to be aware to recognize those things. And the only way that I can do that is if I keep myself chill, and I keep myself in a way where I can pick up those energies. Because if my energy is so erratic and so loud, and I'll miss it when somebody else's energy is impeding that, or I'll miss it if something else is coming into it. But I meditate also to maintain my bubble. Like it is so important for me not to let other people's energy taint my own. And meditation is like a shield. And I noticed this, like my cousin has said it to me, like people that knew me from the past have told me that I'm way more chill than I used to be. And my cousin said that I used to be erratic. And I was like mad emotional. Sometimes I still do get emotional, but in the grand scheme of it, I have completely like really chilled out. Like I used to be way different. And it's because I consider my energy sacred and protected as such. And but it takes active work. Like I remember this one day I was at work when I first started meditating. Like back in 2013, yeah, right after grad school. That summer I started, so maybe like the summer of 2012, then into 2013, I started meditating. And I did it for 30 days, once every day. And that really jump started a lot. But I can't remember what I was about to say with all of that. I got off track again. But anyway, when I started meditating, that's what I was going to say. When I first started meditating, I had to do it all the time, where I felt like some days I would be in the car crying, feeling like because I was having such a hard day. My relationships weren't going right, but I knew that meditation was this was the only thing that made me feel better. So I used to do this 10-minute meditation, this guided meditation, where I would listen to it. And I used to do that over and over again. Like I would have it on replay as I was driving to work. And even if I had to listen to one meditation all day long, the next day I felt so much better. So if you have to dedicate yourself to if you're going through a hard time, you have to dedicate yourself during that time to really focus on one meditation. Go all out. No matter what people think. If you got to meditate, like one of my friends meditated for hours because he was having a hard day. And if you got to do that, do that. But in circling back around to the different types of meditation, because there is guided meditation that you can do. Some people just sit down in silence and don't listen to anything. I have done that. Sometimes I will read a meditation and then I will think about it during my meditation. So the last thing that I'll share is one meditation that I read, and it's a visualization, and it makes you focus on water and air. Circling back around, because I love circles and everything's connected. But to introduce this, I love looking at the sky, and I often do it. And lately, since I've been meditating on water and air, it made me think about how there is always water above us, that even if you're not near water, you can always look to the sky and draw from the water that's in the sky. You can connect to the element of water in the sky within you. So looking at the sky itself is so therapeutic. One, because those elements that are in the sky are also within you. Two, it puts you into perspective in your place in the universe. And three, because of what all of the celestial bodies are above you. So because we are celestial too, our souls are celestial, the things that we're made of are the same materials from the things that are in the sky. Looking at the sky, you can draw on so many different energies, so many different things that can empower you. So in my book that I love reading, Sacred Woman, I came to this meditation in the book by chance, because I haven't read the entire book. I open it up and fall on the page that is most applicable to me, and it has always been that case. So I wanted to read to you the visualization, and I'll end with this visualization, and maybe it can give you an idea of how you can draw on the energies of the sky, and the water and the air around you, to help make your thoughts more like air and help make your words flow more like water. Okay, so as a precursor, the word Nut is the sky, and Nut is the great cosmic sky, and Nut is looked at as a feminine energy. So in this visualization, this visualization makes you look at the sky as a mother, you'll see. I'm just gonna read it. Okay, so the visualization is called In the Arms of the Sky Mother. Whatever state you are in, come to me. I, Mother Nut, will comfort you. Come fly with me. I will set you free, for I am the divinity that dwells within you. Look up to me at night or at dawn for a few moments, or as long as it takes for you to quietly seal a vision of me into your mind's eye. And when peace, stillness, and light have spread throughout your entire body, know that you have been fed from my sky bosom. Gently close your eyes. Sit very still and enter into me on a higher plane. See your stars shine brightly as the light inside wells up in you, and you become one with your celestial womb. Sitting still and easy, breathe deep and deeper still. See your inner stars renew themselves and shine brighter and brighter until all the dark spaces in you melt into one ball of light. Feel this heavenly womb-like safe and peaceful state of light vibrating and emanating from within you, circling your body in a womb-shaped temple of light. Meditate daily with me, your sky mother, so that all the dark places and spaces in you become one light, one love. If that don't make you want to sit down and think about the sky, or go outside and look in the sky and think about how all of those elements are within you, especially when it says to see your inner stars renew themselves and shine brighter and brighter until all the dark spaces in you melt into one ball of light. That is such a powerful visualization. When I did this visualization, I did it in the bathtub, and I had an out-of-body experience. Now it took, because I hadn't practiced with visualization in particular, this is such a strong meditative tool. I teach my kids, not my kids because I haven't birthed any babies. My kids, I mean the students that I teach them visualization, and they're first graders, because and I teach them that means it's 6 and 7. Visualization is such a strong tool because that is where you started. You were created through visualization. You were created in the mind of your creator, who then spoke words that gave you life. So because we were created that way, and we're created in the likeness of our creator, there are parts of our creator that exist in us, we have that capability as well. So that's why it's so important to practice visualization, because that's how we start our own creations. And when it says that that I will, the sky, meditating on the sky, it says, I will set you free, for I am the divinity that dwells within you. And it is so true that you don't have to look to anywhere outside yourself to tap into your divinity, because you were created by the divine. You too are divine. Just like how you were created by a human, you too are human. Because you were created by a divine spirit, you too are a divine spirit. And doing such meditations that connect you to that truth is so powerful. And you understanding how you are air, how you are water, how you are fire, you are earth, you are all of these elements. So anytime your carnality, anytime your flesh gets in the way of you remembering that, or anytime the forces of this world gets in the way of you remembering that, you have to go right back inside yourself and tap into those elements within yourself, so that you can create the world around you that helps you operate at your optimum level of vibration, at your highest frequency. But this is why this is the meditation that I just read this like what, last week. I did this for the first time last week, and I had already done this meditation without reading this. I didn't know that this was the same thing I was focusing on the first time that I had an outer body experience. So I've had two. Both times were in water. Both times were me meditating on the sky and celestial bodies. The first time I had it, I was in the bathtub and I was picturing the night sky, and my mind opened up and my spirit floated out through my mind. It was just an amazing experience. But the visualization of the universe and the sky, it was, oh, that's what I was going to say too. I just heard somebody say about, you've heard the sky is the limit, but meditating on the sky more and more, and what it is, whenever I would think about that quote, the sky is the limit, I would just picture the sky like stopping at the bright blue that I would see. But that's not all of the sky. The only reason that's what we see is because there's so much light. It's so much light saturation. But there's so much more to the sky than what we see. So even if you say or believe that the sky is the limit, you have to expand your mind to understand what the sky is, because it's not a ceiling over you. It's something that's infinite. So if your limit is infinity, do you have a limit? You get what I'm saying? And so I got that from meditating on the sky, and it just really opens up your understanding so much more, especially if you're looking for a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. And like the meditation that I did today was on creativity, and how there's she said that the sky is the limit, but she didn't point out what I pointed out. But she also was saying how that anything is possible. And when you're meditating, you realize that everything is possible, and you create that possibility. But it's amazing how just thinking about air and water can do that. Just thinking about those simple elements. So today I'm gonna wrap it up with this visualization of the sky mother newt. So every time you look up at the sky, think about in what ways you're connected to it. Think about whatever comes to your mind about the sky. Find your strength from it. And my focus and thought is, my thoughts like air, my words like water. And if you need to keep something with you to remind you of those elements that you're focusing on, do it. Like I have my feather in my hair, and you can look up and see water. If you're looking at a cloud, you're looking at water. So I'm gonna stop there, because I'm gonna just start repeating myself over and over again. And I hope that you meditate today in any of the ways that feels right for you. And that's all I got. Jannah with another episode of Random Yet Riveting Ramblings. Peace out, everybody.